Nobody likes them, but everybody needs them. We think that rules are restricting and confining, when in reality they provide us with safety and security. Can you imagine a society that had no rules? Well, what happens when rules are broken? Last year in the United States, there were over 100 million cases filed in the state courts. In Florida, there were 4 million cases filed here. I'm standing in the Marion County Judicial Center, home of the Marion County Court and the 5th Judicial Circuit for the state of Florida. The 5th Judicial Circuit is about the size of Connecticut and serves over 1 million people. There are in excess of 149,000 court filings a year that come through this circuit. This is the place where disputes get settled when the rules are broken. From the beginning of the story, we've read about God's desire for a relationship with us. Adam and Eve were created for that relationship, but they chose to follow their own story rather than God's story. Noah found favor in the eyes of God, and God chose to start over again with him. Abraham was called to be the father of a people that God would have as his very own. And now, after years and years of slavery in Egypt and some time wandering in the desert, God is ready to set up the rules that his people would live by. And in setting up this plan, God promises to make this people a special people, his own people, if they would only follow the rules. You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. The 10 Commandments were given to the people directly from God through the hands of Moses. There may be an image of Charlton Heston holding 2 stone tablets firmly etched in your mind. But through these rules, God would show his people how to relate to him and how to relate to each other. Don't have other gods. Don't make idols. Don't misuse God's name. Keep the Sabbath. These were the first rules that God brought to his people, rules that were designed to help them understand how to relate to God. God was inviting his people into a special relationship, but this relationship needed some guidelines. What God was offering to his people was blessings and care if they would be willing to follow a few simple rules. What God wanted was an exclusive bond with his people, but they would have to commit to putting all other options aside and pursue God with their whole heart. The second set of rules was about how God's people would relate to each other. Honor your father and mother. Don't murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't give a false witness. Don't covet or desire the things that aren't yours. Relating properly to God was one thing. Relating properly to each other was something altogether different. And these rules were designed to help us understand how to get along with others. Starting with the most basic family unit, it carries on to help us understand how to avoid negatively interacting with those around us. These were the basic rules about how to properly relate to God and to others. Jesus got even more basic than the 10 Commandments when he was asked, "What's the most important rule of all?" "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments."